Alright guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and in this video we're going to talk about how we can add a custom component type in the GrapesJS Studio. So in the GrapesJS, normal GrapesJS, like the earlier version, we could have done that easily because you had the editor instance and you can just do editor.add DOM component.add type, and then you define the type and the rest of the properties you can define under the model. But now same thing we have to do with the GrapesJS Studio, but we need to look at like how we're going to get the instance of editor, and then we can just add the DOM component over there. So the type defines, like, let's suppose if you have an element like header, okay, so you have a HTML header and then you want to see some extra parameters in the traits and you want to modify the styles for that header. So how are you going to do that? So when you click on any kind of element, when it gets selected, so the GrapesJS check like which is the selected element and what the properties are defined for this type of this element. So the type is like header, it just assign each and every element like a GrapesJS type. So it works out like whether you have a similar class name, whether you have a similar ID, or the semantic HTML tag like HP or something like that. So it checks by that and then assign the type of it, like the GrapesJS type, and then put all the traits, style and everything just loads in the studio according to that. So the same kind of thing, we're gonna be building one custom type by ourselves today in the video, and then adding the block categories, like the sections and everything, and putting over there, and adding the traits like custom traits. And also we're gonna be writing some script as well, like let's suppose some component type wants some custom script when you drag and drop into the canvas, so it should drag the script as well with that. So that also we're gonna be looking at. So it's gonna be pretty interesting topic, and you're gonna learn a lot into this one. So let's get started and let's go to the screen. And also one more thing, in the previous video I said like GrapesJS has removed all the earlier documentation, so now it doesn't exist on the GrapesJS portal, because actually there's a tweak, like the domains are different. So right now the studio runs on app.grapesjs.com, but the earlier version was running on grapesjs.com. So the still that exists on the grapesjs.com if you visit grapesjs.com/docs, but studio only runs on app.grapesjs.com. so the documentation is totally different for both of these, but the internal functionality is totally same. Still, if you go into the studio and try to add a component type, which we're gonna do it today, so it's gonna work for you. And even you can listen the events, or you can change the selectors, whatever you want to do, you can do it over here as well. Okay, so everything works, same functions are same, which I already told in the previous video. So let's get into it. Let's get started and let's look how we can do that. Okay, all right guys, as you can see my screen right now, I have like empty GrapesJS Studio builder, and this builder I already shown you in the previous video, where basic configuration we did, and then after that we initialized the studio editor and then we use it. So right now, as you can see on my screen, these are all the block manager, block categories, and everything is loading over here. All the component types are over here, columns, and then like section, divider, and all those things over here. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing today, we're gonna be adding another custom block category like this custom, and then we're gonna be adding another block over here like the custom block. So this is already, you see, I'm gonna be adding it now, and after that we're gonna be loading all the things over here. So whenever you drag and drop anything over here like this, so it's gonna be showing you like your own type. Okay, same kind like navbar, if you drag and drop, so it's gonna show you the navbar container or navbar, something like that. So that's, and also it's gonna be having this own property, like the ID title is coming, so there gonna be some other properties you can assign into the traits, and then you can see over here. And also what you can do, you can add some custom attributes as well, which gonna be adding into the HTML elements, on which elements you have, like on which elements you are applying for. Okay, so all these things we're gonna be doing, and this is pretty straightforward. You don't have to do any changes like over here, it's come by default. But when you create a new component type and assign it into the GrapesJS like DOM components, so you have to put all these values by yourself, and then it's gonna be coming on the screen. Okay, so styles, like these are the styles over here, and for this element which is selected right now, because it works on the selected element, and then you can apply this. Okay, so let's get into the code and then write new component type. Okay, so let's go over here. Let me tell you one thing, if you don't know about how you can initialize the editor, so you can use this function on editor. So whenever your editor will load, so you can just set the editor instance, and then it's going to be set into your state. Okay, local state. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm just going to be creating one function over here, like function add new component type. Okay, and Also, I just wanted to tell you, this is a new editor which is called Cursor AI editor, and this is similar to VS Code, but this kind of little extended and advanced version of it. It's not VS Code, but similar to VS Code, and it has its own AI tool, because what you can do, you can just this is the AI agent over here, so it can modify the code. It can just give you the AI suggestions, like the code suggestions, like it was doing right now. So if I just go back and hit the tab, so you see the suggestion is coming from AI. If I accept it, so it's gonna be just write the code over here, so I don't have to do it. And also I can just type something over here and say like write the code into this file, so it can just scan the file, read all the code, and also it can write it, edit it as well. Like if you select some section and says the selected area, just change the code, it can do that too. So you can learn about it, see about it, how it works, and it's pretty straightforward. If you are using the VS Code, it's gonna be easy for you. Just little bit navigation has been changed. Otherwise, also if you install it after the VS Code, so it will automatically take all the configuration from your existing VS Code and put it all the things over here, like even your extensions and all, and install it. Okay, but only one thing is that it's not going to install the GitHub Pilot, because in the VS Code editor, if you want to run the AI like this one, AI engine, so you have to install the GitHub Pilot, but over here you don't, because it by default comes with that. Okay, and also you don't need to pay for it. It's a just free version, so you can just whatever you are writing, it's going to give you a suggestion, and you don't have to worry about like my code, like any logic you are writing, you can just write it over here. It's going to give it to you. So it's kind of chat GPT running in your VS Code. Somewhere it's good, somewhere it's bad for learning, so it's up to you how you want to use it, and you can, if you want to, you can try it out. Okay, so let's move into this. So this is the code this given. I'm just going to be removing it because I'm not going to be using this one. I have some different. So as you can see, I have just created one function, add component type. Then I'm going to be using domc n equals to editor.dom components. So it's giving me the suggestion, so I can use it. Okay, after that I can just do domc.add type. I can create the custom button, or I can just change it to like name of it to my element, my custom element. Okay, then you get dom add type dot model dot extend. Okay, and then default tag name, everything you are getting over here. So it's pretty smart, like it's smarter than a human. Like what was written earlier or previously or something you have tried before, it's just gonna remember that, and it's gonna start giving you the suggestions. Okay, so I'm not gonna be using this one. Okay, so well, let me explain you. Let's suppose if you have like, if you're using a default type, like you want to use like existing component, and then you want to extend it little bit, like some feature you want to extend into that, and you want to enhance it. So what you can do, you can just get the type of it, like type equals to dom component get type. So whether it's a kind of column, or whether it's kind of button or header, so if it is already exists, so you just use that type and do over here like type dot model dot extend, and then you put all the configuration, whatever the new configuration you want to do that. Otherwise you don't need to use, you want to build it from scratch, so you just do model. Inside the model you write default, okay, default configuration, and then hit enter. So you're gonna get all these things over here. So the tag name, you can put it over here like default text, whatever you want to, you can put it. So I'm just gonna keep the button, so my element gonna be button type, so the tag name gonna be button. The rest of the other things I'm just gonna be assigning over here, so that true, and I'm just gonna be putting traits. Okay, inside the traits you can just pass the array. Inside the array you can just pass the type. So you see by default it comes like this, so I can just copy this and paste it again. Okay, like type equals to id, name equals to id, type equals to input. Okay, so the type you have to define like it's an input type or something, and id label equals to id, and default is going to be nothing. Okay, so default value gonna be nothing, and over here also we just keep it empty. Okay, same, we can just keep it title, like right, title. Okay, label gonna be title. Okay, and text gonna be input. Okay, so you have to assign the tag name like element type, so you have to assign this one, and the name, label, and default. Okay, so these are the properties. You can pass as many as you want, there is no restriction on it. Okay, so this is the basic component type you have just assigned over here. We're gonna be talking some more features into it, so there's a documentation we're gonna be going through with that. Okay, so this is the model type added. Now I have to add the block manager. So what I'm gonna be doing, like editor dot block manager block. Oh, let me just do like this. Okay, all right, so editor bm equals to editor dot block manager. Okay, now you just go over here, now create new block. So I'm just gonna be doing bm dot add, okay, and my custom element, and after that I don't need to put the content like this, so I just wanna put the content in the HTML format, so I just put it like this, okay. So it gives a suggestion by default to me, okay. So this is gonna be something, okay, so I can just put like padding, border radius, okay, sorry, border radius like this, and in accept header I'm just gonna be adding button and then data GGS type. So you remember this data.ggс type should be element type if you are writing like this. So you just remember this, if you are writing the HTML like this, so your element should have type into your HTML code. So whenever you drag and drop it over there, it's automatically gonna pick this element type and start showing all the behaviors over there, okay. If you don't add it, by default it's gonna be taking the button, and then button element behavior is gonna be shown over there, okay. So let's go to the screen and let's reload it, just hard refresh it, okay, and just go over here. So we should start seeing our element, okay. We are not seeing our element. Why is that? Let me just add the category. So I'm not able to see my element. Let me add the category custom, okay. Now let me just check if I'm able to see my element. Oh no, I'm not able to. Alright, so I didn't call the function over here, sorry for that. So add component type, you pass the editor, that's it. And after that you just go over here, reload the page and go over here. So you see the custom category, new category defined, and inside that my element is over here. Now I click on it. Now I have added properties to the button type of element, not to this one. So if you see over here and see this button, so I just go into the button, so you see the ID title traits are coming over here, and the styles it's picking by default the button type one, because whatever the button would be having, so all the types are coming, but the traits it's picking from the which I have defined over there, okay. And this design is coming by default, which I have added over here, this part, okay, as you see. Now let's move to another part. Let's move to the documentation, the earlier documentation, and then we look at it. So you see this is the complete documentation of component type, like defining, adding all the features and everything. So you can read it through and understand how the GrapesJS internally works when you drag and drop any component into the canvas and select any element, how the style comes, how the properties comes, and all those things. So everything depends on this one, okay, not on this one, okay. So everything depends on this one only, and all the configuration. You can do lot of things inside of it. You can totally change the behavior of it, okay. So is component, so this is also one more thing, so you gotta check. So let me just copy this one, okay, and I just put it over here inside the model default. I just put it over here like this. So as you can see, I have added over here, so I'm checking the class name. If the element which I'm dropping, if that contains this class name, it automatically return the type for that element is gonna be this. So it's not gonna be working on the div elements like which it was showing earlier, like I have wrapped into the div and div have the class name, so it will work for that. No, because it has to work only on that element, what kind of tag name you have defined over here. So make sure that it should match with this thing as well, okay. So what I have done over here, I have added like this class name, or maybe I can just add this class name over here. So like just replace this part over here and this class name. So my element contains this class name, or whether it contains the GGS type, whatever it is, so it's gonna work for that. Now let's move to the screen, just save it and move to the screen. So and if I just over here and if I drop it, so you see my button is coming and the element type is coming as well, okay, because it contains the class name. Now what I'm gonna be doing, I'm just gonna be removing it, like I just remove all the class name from here, and let's see it works or not, okay. So let's remove. So my element type is coming or not if I drag it as a button. So this is custom element, I drop it and I click on it, so you see it coming as a button, it's not coming as a my element type, because the class name is not included, and that's the property that you have to define into the class list. Then it's gonna be checking that this is the type. So it's for checking the type and returning the type. Whether you can just put like suppose you have an external HTML, so everywhere it's not gonna be defined like I have to add everywhere data underscore GGS underscore type in each and every element, and then it's gonna be picking that element type. No. So you can add these kind of class names as well while defining your custom type, and then so by class name, tag name, or ID you can check that too, and then return the type of the element, okay. So this is all the things you can do, and also rest of the other things as well. I'm not going to take it longer, but yeah, there are a lot of things like you can do. We can discuss it later as well. Like let's suppose this is the init function, okay. Whenever you initialize your element, so there are some events that you can listen to. Let's suppose in the traits case you are changing something, so you can listen the changes over here as well. Okay, and you can call the function, and if the changes are giving some value to you, so you can just do some action on those. Okay, so you can call these functions as well, and when you are like doing something, so all the actions are defined over here, and you can just put this all the functions over here under the model, and then it will work for you. Okay, same for the view as well. So view, init, and render. Okay, on render function, like when you render your component into the canvas for that. And there are some component events as well, like listeners, like component create, mount, update, and all those things. So you can directly listen it on the editor.on. Okay, so it works same as it is like earlier one. And there are some extended version, like extended thing, like you can extend the view of the component type, and then you can change the view of it, like by directly defining over here. I think it was somewhere, let me just check. Yeah, so you see that you can include the extend and extend the view as well. Okay, so you can define the type, or you can just write your code into this one and it will work for you. Okay, all those things, it's pretty interesting, like a lot of things over here to cover up, like, but it's gonna be very long. So we can cover into the upcoming videos all these things, and we're gonna be looking at more about this component type and traits, blocks, and everything. So there's a lot to learn, and it's like I've just restarted the GrapesJS, so all this documentation we're gonna go through in the detail, and then we're gonna be discussing about this. So I hope you learned something from this video, guys, and that's how you can add your component type, and also that's how you can add your block manager too. If you want to just add the block manager, doesn't matter you have the element type or not, you can change the type of it as well, and then you can just put it over here. This is it. Okay, so let me know in the comments, okay, if you have any question or something regarding that. I'll definitely help you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.